Hello everybody and welcome back to Farm Sim 25 and welcome back to our Take Over the Map challenge here on Survival 4X. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight it's cold out here, man, and of course it's snowing. Why wouldn't it be snowing when we have to tackle the gigantic hill up there with a load of grain? So today we're going to be selling off our corn and our wheat. And by corn and our wheat, I mean I'm going to sell off the wheat now and then we'll go forward a month and we'll sell off the corn. But yeah, we got a little bit more to fill up here. But we should have approximately 2 truckloads. Although we will have to save some for our chickens. If we look at our chickens, we are currently... I mean, we still got plenty of food. The chickens are doing fine. So we could probably get through another year without it. So if we can sell off all of our wheat, we'll be fine. We'll get our maximum amount out of this wheat that we can. That's assuming that this truck can actually make it up the hill with this trailer. This trailer seems to be very heavy compared to other trailers. Like when we were hauling the goat milk, that trailer doesn't seem to be nearly as heavy as this one. This one was struggling. But I'm hoping that we're going to be okay. But let's get this thing into town. Only one way to find out whether or not it's going to make it up this hill. And that's to give her all she's got. So without further ado, and of course it would be snowing too, just to add that extra little bit of annoyingness. As we are already struggling. Oh, you've got to be joking. We've never not made it up this before. Alright, so yeah, time to sell this truck. We are going to need to find a truck that actually works. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, man. Alright, we're going to park the trailer here. Park the trailer here. And then we are going to shut it off, jump out of this thing, and say goodbye to the warrior. I don't know if I would call it the warrior. But, yep, she ain't working for us. That's another $93,000 in the bank. Well, the good news is we got plenty of money to buy a new truck. So, let's buy a new truck. Let's find something. Now, I did install a couple of new mods, so we're going to look through them and see if we can find a good one. So, I think if we go all the way down, this is the Warrior Plus, which is what we were just using. We've got the W900 here, capable of being a 1,050 horsepower, but you can see that the transmission is still a manual. We don't want that. So ideally, we want a beast of a truck that's going to be able to pull everything that we need to pull. And yeah, the biggest thing that comes to mind is something like this, but the problem with this is a container truck, which means it does not have a saddle or a fifth wheel, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't have it, which is a problem when you're actually trying to haul stuff. And the worst part is, if we look at the other things, you can't get the big engines in this thing. It's so obnoxious. The Phoenix is capable of 1,582 horsepower, and it shows that a Maxi Torque EST310 transmission. I don't know what that means. But the Phoenix is next up on the list, I think, as our potential. Then, of course, we have the Roadrunner, which is obviously there. But again, Roadrunner is showing as a manual transmission. Now, I thought about one of these, like, Unimog trucks, to be perfectly honest. Because, again, they have, like, the ability to be, like, off-road-esque. And the same thing for these next trucks, or whatever you want to call them. These things can be up to 400 or 600 horsepower. But the problem is they're all manual transmissions. We know that the manual transmissions don't seem to work. It's obnoxious. And then, of course, we have this 379 capable of 2,000 horsepower. But again, it's a manual transmission. It's highly unfortunate. So I've been doing a little bit of looking. And as much as I want... like a really nasty truck that's going to be our forever truck, we just haven't found it yet. And is like, I don't know if it's a horsepower issue or if it's a traction issue. Like, I feel like something like this Unimog, even though it's not capable of a lot of horsepower, I mean, it is basically a tractor, right? Like, this thing, I believe, has, yeah, it's got, well, I guess it's got a 3-point hitch, but I don't see the PTO. I guess there is a PTO there. But it's basically a tractor, but it's a road tractor. And so I'm thinking that maybe something like this will work. The only way to find out truly is to go for it. So if we go like full horsepower, I just don't think it's going to be enough horsepower. That's the problem. Also, this doesn't seem to have a thing. So let's see if we can find... see if we can find crane mounting or saddle plate. We just want the saddle plate. Okay, that doesn't look amazing. You know what? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, immediately I kind of want to go for the TLX Phoenix and just see if this is the thing that's going to be the be-all, end-all. If we just go for this thing, we go for big horsepower. This thing is going to have, it says all in, but the horsepower is only 485. I mean, it does look freaking phenomenal. Oh, I guess this is just kind of giving us a look at what our truck is. I mean, this truck does look phenomenal. If we go for big engine, the wheels, I feel like we need to go for some, like, chonky off-road wheels. This is agricultural wheels. What do we want? We want the... I feel like we go with this. Chicken Lights, base game, or custom. I don't know what that is, to be perfectly honest. Alright, let's look at our headlights. Honestly, I like that design too, I think. Bumpers, I mean, we gotta have all the lights, right? I like design 1 with the extra lights, so we'll go with that. Front grille. We'll go with that one. US style single exhaust. US style double exhaust. Canadian style. I feel like we go with the double exhaust. Exhaust should be straight though. Yeah. Straight with flappers. I mean, we could do that. That kind of brings back the old school. Ooh, angle cut though. Okay, angle cut it is. We're going with the angle cut. Visor, standard, drop visor. I like the standard visor, to be honest. Mirrors. Okay, that just puts more mirrors on it. We don't care about that. Sleepers. We don't need a sleeper. This is just for hauling from farm. Antennas, yes. Gotta have those. Actually, we already have an antenna. Never mind. I don't need extra antennas. Standard interior colors. We'll go black. Honestly, I'm not hating the fact that this thing is like a cream white color at the moment. Okay, we got some different vinyls. Honestly, standard is fine. Rear bumper. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. A little bit lower. Rear PTO. This thing can actually have a PTO, but again, we don't necessarily need that. Kind of like that version. And now we go for the colors. So let's try color instead of pearl white sand. Let's try the black sand. You guys know how much I love black. All right, fenders should also be the black sand. There we go. We're not doing the thing. We've got rim color. It's chrome, which is fine. I don't mind that. All right, let's buy it. $128,000. Surely this is the truck that will get us through, right? All right, let's take a look at this thing. I do love it. I ain't gonna lie. I love me some old school exposed rivets. These big chonking off-road tires. Let's hope they actually work. Please, please be our forever truck. Let's fire her up, see what she sounds like. Okay, nothing too crazy. Oh, that Jake brake though sounds meaty. I like it. We are going to set the speed. Woo! That Jake sounds so good. I ain't gonna lie, that sounds good. Alright, we'll set it for 65 miles an hour. That's fine. Alright, let's go inside. Oh my god, I can't see anything. Literally can't see anything. Alright, how about now? Not really. Alright, so we just go in third person, I guess. Oh, I hope this is the truck that is the be-all, end-all for us. I just need a truck that grips, man. None of our highway rigs that we've gotten so far has been able to, like, grip coming up any sort of hills. It's kind of embarrassing when you think about it. I ain't gonna lie, I really hope this truck works out, because that Jake brake... sounds good. Oh, don't tell me it's going to be one of these where it doesn't fit under my trailer. Alright, we just got to go real hard. There we go. Alright, let's give her the beans. Already doing much better than the last truck. But the true test is yet to come. Rolling coal going up this hill too. Alright, here's the real test. Will it make it up the hill? In the snow? Oh, without a question. Oh, thank God. Okay. I think we might have a truck. I can't see anything from the interior view. Not with that snow, anyway. Alright, let's get this wheat delivered. Good Lord, we have wasted a lot of time today. I know this will be a bit of a shorter episode because all we're going to be doing is selling stuff off, and then we're going to be purchasing some new property to get ready for the root crops. Oh yeah, this thing is way better. I think we finally found our truck, y'all. Other than the fact that it wants to not fit under our trailer initially. Alright, perfect. Go ahead and start offloading this wheat. And like I said, we should have plenty of money in the bank to buy some property expansions today. That will be the goal. But I'm glad we finally got a truck, man. Like, I feel like this is the one. This is the one that's going to be the one to get us over the hill, literally. Literally and figuratively. And you can turn the Jake brake off if you get tired of it. That is a feature that should be used more often when people make these mods and stuff, because you do kind of get annoyed with the Jake brake after a while. You don't always need the Jake brake every time you let off the throttle. But with our first tank empty, we have made about $40,000. Can't complain there. So if we get $40,000 per tank, and we got at least two trucks, so that'll be 8. Sorry, that'll be 4. That'll be $160,000 roughly, is what we're looking at for this, which would pay for the truck immediately, which is nice. Of course, that would more than pay for the truck, because we sold the old truck for like $98,000. Man, I'm so glad that we finally got the one. Hopefully. I mean, it was able to pull a fully loaded grain trailer up the hill in the snow. Obviously, there's not much snow that was, what do you call it, accumulating on the ground. It's not sticking. But it was enough to stop the other truck. This one didn't even sweat it. So, pretty happy with that. Alright, let's get over across the map again. There's another $40,000 in the bank, so we are absolutely crushing it. So we get back over there, pick up some more wheat, deliver it, and then we'll get out of this snow. Well, maybe. Depends on if it snows next month or not, because we are expecting to sell off our corn in January. Soybeans sell off in July, according to the thing. So, yeah, we'll do our corn next month. This thing is so smooth too. I will say, I like this thing a lot more than any other truck we've done so far. I think we finally hit that point where we've got a truck that's going to work. Dude, that Jake brake is nasty in a good way. But you can see, with it coming on every time you let off the throttle, you can see why you might turn it off eventually. Alright, let's load this sucker back up. Like I said, we should have more than enough wheat to get us through, because we harvest the wheat in, I want to say it's June? So yeah, we only realistically need to last 6 months, and the chickens have barely used any of their wheat so far, because we don't have that many chickens yet. Now, as they progress, as they get more chickens, it's going to get more and more, but for now, it's pretty easy to keep up with them. And eventually, we'll have a trailer that auto dumps feed into them if we need to. If we need to. But yeah, this thing is, it's going to be a good year, man. Like I said, we got essentially $1 million harvest that we're selling off. And we basically got a full truckload here. I didn't exactly do the math, but it's going to be close. Maybe we'll get lucky, we'll have a little bit left over. But yeah, once we get this, we just go forward into next month, sell off our corn, and then we'll have well over $1 million in the bank, and we can go through and actually look at buying some new land. The main thing that we're going to be looking at buying immediately is the land that's going to lead to our potato field for our hogs that we're eventually going to get. But obviously we can't get the hogs until we have the ability to feed them. Oh yeah, this truck is just eating this up. I feel like I'm sitting way too low in the seat. I feel like they need to adjust the driver height in this truck. Oh yeah. Again, can't see anything. I was at least on the path. You can see that the weight of this trailer is actually crazy. It's probably realistic, but it's just farm sim physics doing farm sim physics thing. But we should have another solid amount. And if we look at our time-saving stock check, do we still have any wheat? We do not. So we did end up using all of our wheat, which is fine because we should have plenty for the chickens until we harvest again. So they shouldn't be any issues there. So we're not going to quite make $160,000, but it's going to be relatively close. And like I said, we will be going forward to go to the cornfield, or sorry, the corn sale in January. I ain't gonna lie, this thing's pretty nice. Look at this thing. Just stand here and look pretty. Definitely not using that as the screenshot or for the thumbnail. But there you have it, folks. Oh wait, we're not done yet. I don't know why I thought I was done. I heard a beep. Thought we were done. Almost made a mess. Alright, let's get this back over to the farm. And we'll get ready to load up some corn. I think I will turn the Jake brake off just because it is really nasty sounding in a good way, but when every time you let off the gas it does it, it's kind of annoying. Beautiful. Alright, well, I think I'm going to park this outside for the time being. And we'll start loading it up with corn. Or we'll get ready to start loading it up with corn. So let's get some corn going in. Shut those down. And while that's loaded, I think we go ahead and go forward. So let's go ahead and jump over here. Run into the Kubota. Somebody parked it right in front of the doorway. And let's go forward till next month. I want to look at something because right now, if we look, the corn is worth $272,000. It is currently at $433. It can go up to $505 according to this. So let's hope that that's the case. I'd hate for it to drop. All right, let's go ahead and feed old Shadow out here while we're thinking about it. Make sure he's got plenty of food. No more space for pallets. Oh no, I did a thing. Well, I can't really deal with that at the moment. So I'm just going to go over here and pull all of them out of the way. You guys got plenty of food, right? Yeah, they're doing fine. They're doing fine. All right, let's get over here. We'll pull some of these pallets out of the way. We do have an auto-loading trailer here. We just don't have a truck hooked up to it at the moment. Definitely looks like this should have like 3 rows of storage. But it doesn't. It only has 2. Like I said, oops. That was not what I was trying to do. Close that before the magic goats get out. I know they can fly, but let's not leave the door open. Sorry that this has taken so long. Right. Oops. We are maxed out on the total number of goats that we can have, by the way, which is nice. All right. Now that that's done, let's jump in our truck. Got discombobulated when I was looking at the map. We'll get some more corn put in. We've got multiple truckloads of corn to bring in. Go ahead and save real quick while that's filling up. Can you believe we're over $1 million in the bank? It's kind of crazy. All right, so the corn the corn price dropped. We're going to be losing about $30,000, not quite $30,000 off the top. Not ideal, but it'll be okay. We should make up for that with our environmental bonus, so won't be too bad. All right, let's get the first load of corn hauled in. Just feels so nice to have a truck that just goes up the hill. Like, I know it's a steep hill, but come on. That's what these things are built for, Poland. At least it's a much nicer day today. So there's that. Gotta look at the bright side of things. Still expecting 6 to 7 centimeters of snow, but right now it's not snowing too hard. It's just little flurries. All right. How much are we going to make per tank? Because we've got multiple trucks to bring in. I want to say it's 3 and a partial loads. Maybe 4 loads. Or, like, I guess that would be 4 loads if it's three full and a partial. Honestly, the worst part of this is how long it takes to do it. Like, this trailer just takes so long to unload. Realistic or not, it is kind of annoying. Especially when you got a lot to do. And knowing that I have a trailer that I can haul all of my corn in one go with a tractor. And it can dump much faster. But I do like the idea of hauling our stuff with a truck. On a lot of maps, I don't even bother getting a truck because you don't really need it. You just use your tractor. But this map is so big that having some sort of over-the-road transport just makes sense. But at least you guys will get to see another episode. Like I said, this was supposed to be a shorter episode, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that because we were 14 minutes into the episode before we even got started selling stuff. But I asked you guys in the last episode whether you guys prefer seeing more or less of things, and everybody that responded with an answer said that they prefer seeing more of it, so they don't mind the longer episodes. So that's what you're going to get. I'm here to please you guys. That's what we're here for. Alright. Get this thing back over to the farm. We'll get the next load of corn. Careful there, sunshine. All right, still got 500,000 liters of corn. That's so much corn. It's kind of crazy how the light from above casts a shadow of the frame onto the dust that's coming off of the corn. I like that. All right, load number 2 coming out. The other good thing about this truck is, despite it being like really high horsepower, it doesn't feel like it's like a ridiculously modded truck. You know what I mean? It feels relatively normal. I say as I turn up the speed on the cruise control. Right. Load number 2. I don't think I actually paid attention to how much we made last time, so about $46,000 per tank. That's not bad. That's not bad. We're making almost 100 grand per trip. That is what we call making the money. Oh, just as a reminder, as we save, this is still on the hard economy. Like, I haven't changed anything. Just in case people thought that maybe I changed anything. But yeah, you can see, still on hard. We are literally just making that much money. It's just the way it is. Like, I feel like we're going to be close to $1.5 million in the bank. We're officially a millionaire, guys. Officially. At least for now. Until I go spending all my money on land in a minute. Or at least some of my money on land. Because remember, we got to buy the Kinsey planter. We have to buy the land. And what else do we have to buy? Eventually, we'll have to buy the Colossus root crop harvester. We know that's not cheap. But we won't need that until October. So we've got time there. Don't necessarily need it right away. Try not to hit the tree this time. Let's get loaded up for load number 3. Looks like we've got one more full load here and then one partial load. Which is fine with me. But yeah, so we will have to buy the McKinsey planter. Or the Kinsey planter. We'll have to buy the Colossus harvester before October. So we've got time there. Not in a hurry for that. We need to buy the actual hog facility, hog pen that we looked at, and place it. Even if we're not ready for hogs yet, we need to place it, get it put down. Then we need to also build our pig food mixer. So we've got a lot of money to spend. It's gonna be a thing. All right, load number 3. Let's get it over. If I had to complain about anything, it would be that the engine sound could be a little bit more impressive. But at least it works. And I'm not even blaming the other trucks. Like, I know that we have 2 mods installed that reduce the amount of friction of our tires. So I understand that that's the bigger issue here. It's not necessarily the trailer's fault. It's not the truck's fault. It's simply that our experience is set to be pretty difficult. And then, of course, you put on top of that all of the freaking hills on this map, which, again, love this map, but they are brutal. But this truck is so smooth. It's so nice. It does like to tip. But overall, happy with it. Our forever truck. We finally found it. And the best part is we can get multiples of these for, that way we have one for the goats, one for hauling the grain, that sort of thing. That way I don't have to keep shoveling everything off to the sides. Or we could just have the one and then not have to worry about, or then just have to swap back and forth between trailers all the time. Which, depending on how this thing likes to go in and out of the trailers, I might not do that. I might get a second one. Just so we don't have to worry about it. Maybe we have one blacked out like this and the other one be Stormtrooper. Beautiful. Another $46,000-ish. This should put us up over $1.3 million in the bank. us out here. Head back, grab our last load of corn. Now, we're still about a year away from hogs, because you got to remember, we're not going to be able to even feed these hogs until at least October when we get our next harvest, which will have our first root crop harvest, our first corn and soybean harvest, plus our wheat, right? So we've got to use wheat, corn, and potatoes, I believe. All right, last load of corn. Still almost a full truck. So we ended up with 3 full and almost a 4th full truck. So this should put us in the neighborhood of $1.4 million in the bank, which is crazy. All right. Give me the last of the corn, baby. Almost missed the hole. And don't forget, we still have all of our soybeans. Soybeans don't get sold off until June or July. So we still got all that to go. Maybe I'll use this as our thumbnail instead. Alright, let's get this last load in. Get it delivered. And then we can start looking at our equipment that we're going to buy and our land that we're going to buy and our buildings that we're going to buy, plus any extra terraforming that we have to do. Whole lot of running back and forth, I will say that. Which again, this is the first map that I've ever played on where I feel like I don't have a choice but to use a truck for transport. Now, obviously, we did use a truck for transport when we were hauling logs on our New Frontier playthrough. But so maybe that was probably the first one where I felt like I had to use a truck. But pretty much any other time, you don't really need to use a truck. Especially like I've had pretty fortunate of being able to set up right next to like places where we sell stuff, so you don't need a truck for that. You just use your tractor. That being said, we are almost done selling off our corn and our wheat, and we are going to have pretty close to $1.4 million in the bank. That's why I haven't bought the land or anything yet, because I want to see the big number when we're done. And then when we start unloading this, we'll save the thing again. Let's go ahead and save the game. And we'll look at our finance situation. You guys will see the kind of money we've been bringing in. So if we go over here to finances, you can see that pretty much every month we have been raking in ridiculous amounts of money. If you look at the sold products, I mean, we're selling $116,000 a month in silage, right? And it's actually more than that. That's only one silo running currently. The other silo's empty. When they're both running, it is not impossible to hit $250,000 to $300,000 a month. But let's go ahead and shut her down for the time being. Now that we've got that done, $1.4 million. We actually hit the number. Perfect. All right, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and buy the Kinsey multi-fruit planter. And again, we're going to be using this for the root crops, and that's it. At least for the time being. We may switch it up down the road, but the Kinsey multi-fruit planter is this sucker right here. And it's going to allow us to plant everything. This one actually allows us to do even more. So we'll go ahead and do this version. It allows us to do everything. I don't know. I think we go with this one. But we will be using the... do we go with the unrealistic? Because currently it's 18.2 meter working width. You know what? We're not going to go We're not going to go unrealistic working width. It will allow us to work faster anyway. Rear light design, I couldn't really care less about that, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, round's fine. Triangle, yes. Beacon, no, not really. Brands is fine. Rear hitch, I don't think we need anything on there. Capacity is going to be the super unrealistic. And then as far as colors go, we don't need to change any of that. So $177,000 gone. And again, that's mainly going to be for our potatoes for the time being. All right, so now that we're done with that, what else do we need? We need to buy the land. So let's go ahead and do that since that's going to be expensive. Whoops. Farmland. All right, so we need to buy this land down in here. There's actually 3 different plots that we have to buy. So that's going to be $750,000. That's a lot. I just realized we got to buy this plot too. And then actually we don't need this plot yet, so that's perfect. So it's still 3 plots of land. That leaves us just under $500,000 in the bank. That should get us our entire potato field, because this tree line here is the end of the field. So our field is going to be basically right through here. So that should be fine. So we'll have to cut that grass and then rip it into, or turn it into a field in the next episode. But we still have more work to do, so let's go ahead and get into the construction mode. We'll fly over to our farm. We've got our area here that we set up for our pigs already. So let's go ahead and get our pig enclosure that we were looking at, which is this one. And I believe we turned it this way. Pretty sure somewhere in that neighborhood. So we'll go ahead and slap this down. Roughly right there. Should be fine. Perfect. And now that we've got that, the next thing that we're going to need is the actual factory where we turn our pig food. So let's take a look at that. I don't know exactly where it's going to be in the grand scheme of things. There are a lot of different things. This turns manure into fertilizer, huh? Might have to look into that at some point. What was I looking for? I'm looking for the pig feed. All right, there's our pig food mixer. All right, how big is this building? All right, so it's not too big. I don't have a problem with that. All right, so where do we want it, though? Obviously, it looks like everything is on this side. I mean, it kind of fits with this aesthetic over here, to be perfectly honest. We really don't have a spot, and I don't want to put it there because that gets in the way of everything else. Thinking it goes over here. Maybe right across the street. But how do we want to situate it? If we put it something like this, I feel like that would be fine. Or we rotate it this way so that our separators are right there. If I put it this way, it's a little plain from the road. You know what I mean? That's the downside. But if I put it this way, it's got a little bit more going on. So I think we go this way, and then we put this like in here somewhere. So let's go ahead and level off a small area. Shouldn't take much. Very little fill going in here, so this won't cost us a whole lot. Alright, that should be plenty. Now let's go find our pig food maker. What'd I do with it? There it is. Alright. So yeah, I think we put this about like that, to be perfectly honest. Maybe a little bit further back. There we go. And then we should be able to, at this point, go ahead and soften all of this up. So that we just blend everything in nicely. Beautiful. Now we got to put in our gravel. All right, actually, may want to stick with square for now. Let's give us plenty of room. We will just go ahead and quickly paint over the asphalt that they've got down, or or whatever their base is. And then we will bring this out here as well. Beautiful. All right, that should hopefully give us enough room to do what we got to do. Now, we got to do the same thing over here. I am going to probably turn some of this back into grass. And then obviously some of it is going to be gravel. So let's go with the gravel first. Okay. Again, we're going to bring that gravel over just a touch. And then do the same thing over here. All right, let's go ahead and go to the circle. I don't know why I'm using the controller. I do have access to a mouse right next to me. And it's much easier to do it with a mouse. At least the fine stuff, anyway. I think we go ahead and fill this area here, too. I was going to put some grass in there, but I think it's fine to do it with gravel. And then we'll put some gravel in here as well. Just trying to get all the fine details first. All right. Now if we go with this, should be able to shrink it down a little bit. We'll actually bring this out a little bit further. Perfect. And we'll just fill in the little areas right here. All right. Now, I think we're ready to go ahead and soften this. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to come through here. Try to soften it up a little bit at a time. better. All right, now we want to get a little bit better. Just come through here. Through there. All right, I think that's acceptable. Now we just got to figure out exactly where we're going to be driving. Obviously, we've got this area back here in the back. We've got this area here in the front. The area in the front can probably connect directly to the road surface. Don't think that'll be an issue. And then we can widen this area back here. All right, let's do that. So if we get our gravel back out. We can simply bring this forward. Beautiful. And then this area back here in the back, we're going to actually widen. We're just going to bring this down here like this. And then we are going to bring that down there like that. That seems decent enough. Gives us plenty of room to drive back there. Maybe a little bit wider, actually. Let's go. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight lines either. There we go. Gives us a little bit better area. Now we need to put some grass back in there. And obviously this can brush up against the edge of the gravel so that it blends a little better. Doesn't have to be perfectly straight either. Also, we're going to go ahead and fill in this area as well. All right, now, do we drive on this side? I don't think so. I mean, we're coming through here potentially. So yeah, actually, I want to have us our ability to do a loop-de-loop. All right, let's get the gravel back out. All right, let's bring this out to about here. I think that's fair. All right. Then we just bring this right up to the edge. Beautiful. All right. So that gives us some good old-fashioned, plenty of room to maneuver, to bring everything in. Everything's nice and neat. The actual platform that this was built on, you can tell that it's been filled in, right? But it's smoothed out enough that I think it is absolutely fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, and then this is pretty much as you'd expect to. Nothing crazy here. Just kind of an extra outbuilding. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go drive over there and take a look at it. On foot. Now while we're on our way over there, we'll actually just go ahead and save real quick. Alright, let's put our trailer in here. For the time being. And then we will also go grab that real quick. So we don't have to worry about it. Really? There we go. Now we got the room. Let's go ahead and shut this down for the time being. You can see our hog pen over there. We're just going to fly over there real quick. But yeah, look at this. I think this looks really good here. And like I said, having the gravel out here, and then of course the mud inside, will be perfect for when we get our hogs. They're going to absolutely love it in here. Although, I think I may add a couple of trees in there for them to kind of root up against. So, let's do that while we're thinking about it. So, if we go to construction, and we want to go to trees, what tree would make sense? Like, one big shade tree would actually be great. So, maybe like a northern catalpa. Something like this. That'd give them plenty of shade, you know? Too many trees. But I've cut down trees. Well, that sucks. I can't actually put any trees down. So much for that idea. Oh well. I guess there's too many trees. So we won't be able to do that after all. I was going to give them a nice little shade tree and everything, but no. Can't have any fun in this game. I think there's a mod that allows us to remove the limit for trees, so I may end up doing that. But for now, I think this is a perfect spot to end. I mean, look at that. Don't it look good? Pigs are coming soon. Just going to take about a year. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.